Hello and welcome to the Commander's Quarters, your Magic the Gathering source that helps you command your budget. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support. Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander's Quarters studio. Welcome to the show. So, yesterday, I think we were all surprised when we got some early spoilers. At least a week early with a charm that came out with Maestro's Charm, and yes, this indicated that we were going to have a full cycle of charms, one for each family from this set, and one of each 3-color combination from this set. And last week, obviously, we got Grixis with Maestro's Charm, we got Esper, and we also got Naya. And so it comes to little surprise that this morning we got yet another charm with the Jund Charm finally showing up, Riveteers Charm, and that's a powerful charm. I mean, this thing is, well, let's jump into it. Or maybe I should say let's jump into it after I thank Eddie for all the help during spoiler season. And of course, if I make any mistakes, remember that it's always Eddie's fault and not mine. And now with that, let's jump into it. So, like all of the other charms, Riveteers Charm is a 3-mana charm that is instant speed and it gives you 3 options. This one against the Jund Charm, so it costs black, red, green, and it says, target opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker they control with the highest mana value among creatures and planeswalkers they control. Or exile the top 3 cards of your library until your next end step, you may play those cards. Or exile target player's graveyard. Now, typically when it comes to these charms, for the most part, the ones that see the most play generally have a way to provide some sort of card advantage or value, and also some piece of removal, and then maybe some kind of flexible, usage as well. Regardless, Riveteers Charm has 3 fantastic options, all of which are incredibly relevant in a game of Commander. Now, it's probably too early to say this, especially since the Bant Charm hasn't even been revealed yet, and it's probably going to get revealed tomorrow. Regardless, I'm still going to say it. Riveteers Charm is probably the best out of all the charms that we've seen in this cycle, and in my opinion as well, one of the best charms that we have seen ever. Now, okay, when I'm saying for comparison's sake for the charms, I do mean the 3-color charms that we've seen so far. I'm not talking about in comparison to something like Boros Charm or that charm cycle of 2 mana, okay? Different, alright? Regardless, yeah, this thing is flexible and provides you with 3 fantastic options. Now, not always, but typically the creature or planeswalker that you want to get rid of on an opponent's board is going to be the one that has the highest converted mana cost. Not all the time, but the vast majority of the time, that's going to be the case. So while you can't pick and choose what you want to get rid of, usually you're going to want to get rid of whatever the highest thing is on that player's board, so you're going to be able to do that with this. Whereas the vast majority of other charms are more limited in their removal to, hey, okay, you can deal, a certain amount of damage, or give something minus something. Those usually can get rid of, a good amount of creatures, yes, absolutely. But typically not the high-end creature. If someone's got, say, Emrakul in play, you usually can't get rid of that. But Riveteers Charm's like, yeah, Emrakul, the Promised End, has 13 mana cost. I believe it's 13. So that one's gone. On top of that, of course, this also forces that player to sacrifice the creature, so this gets around, any kind of regeneration or, more likely indestructibility that something might have too. So yeah, that first option is a fantastic piece removal and one of the best ones that we've seen so far on a charm. Next up, that card advantage option is also great. Exile the top 3 cards of your library until your next end step, you may play those cards. Now, again, keep in mind this one is worded in a very specific way. There are different kinds of impulse draw cards out there and different ways that they are worded. You might see other ones, maybe like a Commune with Lava that says, until the end of your next turn. This one is not like that though. This one specifies until your next end step, which means if you play the card on your actual turn, you're going to lose access to these cards at the beginning of that same end step that you're just about to hit. So typically, if you are going to be utilizing that option on this card, the best way to do it is just wait until the end, the turn of the player before you, cast this on their end step, and then you get access to those 3 cards in that next upcoming turn. Impulse Draw is fantastic temporary card advantage, and yeah, 3 mana for 3 cards, even if it's just temporary, can be incredibly impactful. And that final option, Exile Target Player's Graveyard, is incredibly relevant in a lot of games of Commander. And yeah, if you've ever played against someone who has, a graveyard-centric deck, a Reanimator deck, a deck that utilizes a lot of cards that you can flash back, there's a lot of different reasons why exiling graveyards is important. I mean, even if just one of your opponents is trying to recur something that is problematic with a regrowth spell, this is going to do the job. Now, that's probably going to be the least used option on this card, but it's always a great safety valve to have. So yeah, when you've got great removal, yes, it's not going to work out in every single scenario, but it's going to work out in the vast majority of scenarios. Solid temporary card advantage, again, 3 mana for access to 3 cards, and then also the option to get rid of a graveyard if you desperately need to. Yes, this is a very solid, low to the ground, 3 mana instant speed spell that provides you with fantastic options. So unless the Bant Charm that comes out tomorrow, or whenever it comes out, most likely tomorrow, somehow tops this, I think this is going to be the #1 charm out of the cycle, at least when it comes to seeing play in Commander. But again, I am just speculating and I could be wrong. That being said, now let's compare the Riveteers Charm to the original Jund Charm, and yeah, Jund kind of has been due for a good charm for quite some time. Because the original Jund Charm just sees play in 1% of eligible decks. It also is an instant that obviously has the exact same mana cost, and it says choose 1, exile cards from target player's graveyard, or Jund Charm deals 2 damage to each creature, or put 2+1 counters on target creature. So obviously, each of these can exile target player's graveyard, so that's at parity. But the other 2 options are nowhere near as effective as Riveteers Charm's options. Dealing 2 damage to each creature can be incredibly impactful in some scenarios, but not a lot of them out there. I mean, yes, if you're playing against your friend's token deck and they're all, tiny 1/1 saplings or whatnot, cool, you took them all out. But for the most part, you'd rather have a target removal spell that can take out something massive, because in more scenarios, you're going to have a high converted mana cost creature or planeswalker that is problematic instead of having just a bunch of tiny tokens on the board. And then that last one, put 2+1 counters on target creature, obviously can be relevant for certain decks. It's still really not all that big of a payoff for a 3 mana instant spell though, and it's a pretty weak effect. But Riveteers Charm, again, instead providing Impulse Draw, 3 cards for 3 mana is a much better option. I mean, again, for most decks, astronomically better. So, at the end of the day, I guess the question might be, will Riveteers Charm see more play than Jund Charm? And I think the answer is, obviously, yes. Riveteers Charm is just a very solid card in a lot of decks out there. It's not really doing anything that's just, specifically good for specific decks. Like, again, maybe Jund Charm might be better in a deck that's like, hey, get counters on something. Riveteers Charm is just broadly good. So now let's quickly talk about the other charm in Jund with Dargas Charm. I know you might have thought it was impossible to see even less play than Jund Charm at 1%, but Dargas Charm sees play in 0% of decks. Okay, well, it's rounded down, but yeah, there's like a couple hundred decks that this maybe sees play and that it's eligible for. Again, it's an instant for the exact same mana cost, and it says choose 1, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, or Dargas Charm deals 3 damage to target creature or player, or target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. So this does technically provide some card advantage. Obviously, that is recurring a creature from your graveyard to your hand, which some decks might really want, but that's pretty specific. 3 damage to a creature or player. I mean, a lightning bolt for 3, sure, you can basically take out a good amount of creatures out there, but not any big threatening ones for the most part. And yeah, just pumping a creature +3/+3 again for 3 mana, that's giant growth, but for 3 mana. So yeah, there's a reason this charm sees basically no play. So again, will Riveteers Charm see more play? Yes, absolutely yes. Now, when it comes to decks that I think are going to be considering Riveteers Charm, it's actually more of a broad appeal kind of charm than some of the other ones that we've seen so far. So even just let's just talk about, any kind of random Jund commander. Your Lock of Scorch Thrash, sure. That one might want to consider Riveteers Charm, again, because It is a flexible spell that has 3 modes that essentially are always going to be relevant in games of Commander. So pick pretty much any Jund commander out there and you're going to be like, hey, would you like this card that, has 3 modes that are relevant? And yeah, it's very efficient at 3 mana instant speed. Many of them might say yes. But yeah, with Yurlok, I guess you just need to keep even just 1 mana open for this charm, because obviously if you pay 1 and tap Yurlok, each player is going to add Jund to their mana pool. So there you go. Yurlok helps you pay for that charm itself. And of course, obviously, like I've brought up on all these other charm episodes, the commander that most wants all these charms is, of course, Ramos Dragon Engine. Ramos has, whenever you cast a spell, put a +1 counter on Ramos for each of that spell's colors, remove 5 counters from Ramos, add double Urg to your mana pool, activate this ability only once each turn. Now, I have said this before and I'll say it again, there are Ramos decks out there that literally just want every single charm in Magic and just utilize every single one of them because obviously they are efficient spells that are flexible and then get counters on Ramos, but some just like the flavor of that where it doesn't matter how bad a charm might be, they still will probably utilize that charm in the deck. Now, with this brand new charm, the Riveteers Charm, you don't have to actually, just utilize a bad charm for the sake of it. Riveteers Charm is a great charm and it's going to fit into the vast majority of Ramos decks out there. But yeah, like I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, last week we saw Maestro's Charm, which is the Grixis Charm, Obscura Charm, which is Esper, Cabaretti Charm, which is Naya, and Riveteers Charm, which is of course Jund. And again, out of those 4, and again this is just my opinion, I think Riveteers Charm takes the cake as the best charm that we've seen so far. So with the new Bant Charm that's going to be coming out tomorrow, or whenever it actually comes out before spoiler season most likely, it would really have to do some pretty incredible things to overtake that spot from Riveteers Charm. So yeah, make sure you stay tuned to this channel for even more spoilers. Again, spoiler season is just around the corner. This Thursday, April 7th, I believe, is the first day for spoiler season. So I'll be getting my supply of coffee ready. And with that, this show is coming to a close, so it's my turn to hear from you. So in the comments below, let me know what your thoughts on this episode are. And as always, thanks again and have a good one.